Well, have and have not fans, just like every season of have and have nots, all good things have to come to an end. Based off the order of how I upload these to YouTube, this could be my last video until we actually get more episodes, hopefully in January of 2017, where we have the first part of season 5. So I've already done videos about the finale review, my predictions on season 5, whether or not Tinka Sumter's pregnancy in real life will result in Candace being pregnant on the show. Let's see here. Jennifer Silence's death, like the plots that either would die along with her or new plots that will be explored, as well as characters who haven't shown up in season 4 at all, like Celine, Tony, just, those kind of characters who have gone, but will they come back? This video is going to be more about a topic I covered, if I'm not mistaken. I've sat down. This is Thursday night, September the 8th. If I'm not mistaken, this is either the 5th or 6th video that I've actually recorded in one sitting. So, if I'm not mistaken, a topic of interest that I brought up in the season finale episode review was about a potential war, not Warlock, between the Malones and, Warlock's crew. Here's how I think it might happen. Again, this is purely speculation, a fan theory. I don't have any scripts. This is my legit. This might happen, and if it does, it could be one of the most kick-ass moments of the haves and have-nots. I've always found it interesting that the Malones are a mob, like gangster group that have a quote-unquote restaurant. And they're pretty much hired muscle. And apparently Jim got some of the Malones off of, he even mentioned this to Candace at the end of episode 2, where he said during his early days as a judge, a man, turns out to be a Malone, who makes women disappear. There was tons of evidence about his, evidence built against him that he was guilty, but there was too much evidence that he let him off the case. Or let him off without not so much as a slap on the wrist. I believe he said Christmas or holiday or birthday, he would send Jim a card, let him know, like, hey, thanks for what you did for me. And if you ever need any help or somebody that needs to be, gone or disappear, call me up. And that was our nod to the Malone family back in early season 1. And obviously they're muscle for hire, and they work for Jim because, as David put it, hey Jim, hey, they do owe you a few favors for getting them off a jail in terms of whatnot, but at some point your favors are going to run out and they're going to want some money. So obviously you don't get the Malones unless you save them from jail or you have a large amount of money. Then you have Warlock, who's kind of like the hired muscle or the Malones of the... It's kind of funny, like the Malones are on the side of the haves, and you can say that Warlock and his crew, arguably even Quincy's and Quita's operation, works on the side of the have-nots. And obviously the reason I've really felt like at some point these two gangs would clash presented itself to me during the time where Jim got kidnapped by Warlock, and maybe I was like, wow. And it obviously got canceled out after the whole Candace had all the videos and pictures for blackmail. I always thought that he would get the Malones to, war with, or no pun intended, with Warlock and his crew for everything that happened. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I really felt like that would be a great way to do like a season finale, like a 2-part episode that was like a big gangster war. And at the end, we'll see what side is standing. I really think more evidence piled up when it came to, Mitch disliking Warlock, because I felt like those two had a history where, maybe Mitch worked for Warlock at one point, but then switched to another, drug dealer side or whatever, which was why he was so adamant about, yo, man, I ain't trying to work with that dude. Later we find out that Mitch was one of the Malones, and he doesn't want to be part of that life, so it makes sense why he wouldn't want to have anything to do with Warlock, who's a drug dealer, because he's trying to get away from any kind of dirty life. Could it be that at some point, Warlock and Malones got into it at some point, and, that's how Mitch has a disdain for Warlock and vice versa. I mean, the way that Warlock is, funky towards Mitch, it could be that he knows that Mitch is a Malone, hence why, there might be some negativity or bad blood between those two gangster groups. How I feel that things might set off is Candace Young. Here's why. And I said this in the other video too. Look at it this way. Warlock thinks Candace is the reason he got arrested and was in jail. And as Candace put it, even though he's in jail, he can still reach me. Then you have the Malones. You're probably asking, why would the Malones be pissed off at Candace? I mean, Mitch is a Malone, and he got his family connections to help put Warlock in jail. Because obviously, I don't think the Malones knew that Mitch did it for the sake of Candace, but it was just a favor that he asked of them. So when you think about it, here's how I think the Malones or Mama Rose can be reintroduced into the series. Remember that initially she wanted Candace to be killed off. Like, hey, we should just kill her off. And that's why Jim's like, oh, wow, she's not pregnant. So let's just scare her, pretend to shoot her so she'll go away and know I mean business. Then we come to find out that, Mama Rose is Mitch's grandmother, hence why she told David to back off the tow company because her grandson doesn't want anything to do with his life, and I can't blame him. She wants him to live a clean, normal life just as much as he wants to extend himself away from the family, aside from when he needs favors and perks from being a Malone. I think if Candace doesn't get the money and Benny loses the tow company, she's going to ask Mitch, what happened? Did David do this to you? Because I don't think she would, jump on David automatically, because I'm pretty sure she knew that David got the point in terms of, hey, you know how this goes. You back off. Fine, I'll back off and get the phones cut back on. I think that she's either going to contact David or contact Mitch directly, where Mitch is going to be like, hey, I lost tow company. Because remember that initially he was going, hey, why don't we ask my family for the money? No. Benny was like, no, I ain't going to do that. And he's like, yeah, you're right, because, money to them, none of your family members are safe. Like that money, like you pay up or you die. I feel like he might not ask for the money, but in some way, shape, or form, Mama Rose is going to find out that the tow company got shut down. She might initially think that David did it, but I think Mitch is going to explain the situation in terms of, hey, Benny, the guy I was working with, his sister put up a mortgage, and that's how everything got foreclosed on. Bet money she's going to ask the name of his sister and then find out it's Candace, the girl that she said should have been killed off to begin with. Now, I feel like maybe things will clash when, let's say, Warlock calls some of his goons to take care of Candace, and then the Malone crew is sent in to deal with Candace because of her actions that led to Mama Rose's grandson Mitch not living the clean life he wanted to in terms of his chance being the tow company got foreclosed on. That could be a trigger for, the Malones and Warlock's crew clashing in terms of like who's going to be the one to take care of Candace. I mean, again, that's one possible avenue I could think of, but you think of it this way, you gotta look at Jim too. He knows the Malones, and then you have Warlock who's working with Jim to get back at Candace. So I feel like Jim and Candace are the keys to how everything will play out, because remember, the Malones were on Jim's side, Warlock and his crew were on Candace's side until it turns out she's a big fat liar. So I feel like that would be a big event. I feel like that would be a great way to get some hood action up on the show. We've been higher than before. You're probably asking, what about Quita's crew, if you will? I don't know. I mean, she thinks that something happened to her brother thanks to Candace. Hell, that crew might jump into the gang war too. It might be some big gang war. I think that would be great. I feel like that would be a great climactic mid-season or season finale where there's obviously going to be a lot of death. People's true colors will come out. So I think that if Tyler Perry, if you haven't thought of it already, look at this video. I think that would be, again, these are just theories. I don't know how exactly you can write it, but I feel like the pieces are there for a bomb to go off, for a big explosion. Like, you think these killing a couple characters off at a time is a big thing? No. If there's some big gang war and then Candace and Jim are at the center of it, I feel like Savannah, Georgia is going to be drenched in blood. Like, I feel like, I don't know how it will go down, where it will go down, but I feel like a storm is on the horizon. I feel like Tyler Perry has teased us enough. I want to know when, how, where, who is involved. I really feel that there's going to be some kind of gang war on the haves and the have-nots. These are just my theories. Let me know what you think, because again, I feel like the fuse is lit and we're just waiting on that big explosion. So again, if I don't come up with another theory, or if I don't see, a comment that from a fan of my work that triggers anything, this is potentially my last video until we get like a teaser trailer for season 5. So it's been a fun ride, guys, from start to finish. We've made it past season 4 and we're moving into 2017 with a new season. So again, I cannot thank everyone enough who has followed me on Twitter, the blog, the YouTube video. But again, Tyler Perry has us busy with shows like Too Close to Home, if I'm not mistaken, For Better or Worse, If Loving You Is Wrong, and isn't Love Thy Neighbor, I think that's coming back on, or did that have that season finale? There's just so much to keep us busy. So even though we're waiting in anticipation for Have and Have Nots, I need to catch up with Too Close to Home, because my mom, other fans of the show have told me it's been great. So I'm going to spend my time watching that, as well as If Loving You Is Wrong. So again, use this time to catch up on my theory videos now, because I have a ton of them on YouTube. So please subscribe, comment, share, because again, I'm trying to get this YouTube channel to like 1,000 subscribers. My Facebook page is almost up to 3,000, so keep them coming. So again, let me know. I feel like a big gang war is coming. Do you think it's going to come? Have you thought of this theory as well? Let me know your thoughts on how it's going to go down. And again, if this is my last video, I will see you all in 2017.